I want to talk about the mindset of IdrA at this point. He knew he was up. I wouldn't say he was like... No, he was
off
pretty
the initial
high.
pressure.
Yeah, he was pretty far up. Being 4 base to 2 base, or an emerging 3 base, is pretty substantial. Not only that, having Broodlords at the time, when your opponent doesn't have Mothership for such a long time, that's another key thing. And I can understand where people might get a little bit confused with who was ahead, who was behind, because I think it was really hard to determine that. But a lot of times that endgame stage is actually determined not by what your army is, not by how much minerals or gas you have in your army, but really by the army composition and the mothership energy. And it's really crazy to say that, but the Vortex is what really empowers the Protoss at that endgame stage. If they don't have Vortex energy, it's suicidal to actually engage with a Zerg that has Spine Crawlers, Infestors, and Broodlords. It's just not feasible.
Yeah. And, and we see that Alicia, he's able to really keep his composure throughout that game. There's many times where I know I'm Protoss, and I just kind of crumble to the pressures there, especially if they're advancing with Spine Crawlers and Creep all the way to right outside your 4th. But yeah, so props to him, and we'll see if he's able to take it and bring it in game number 2. For now, we see the... Oh, you want to bring in one more point?
Yeah, that being said, I feel like IdrA's confidence might be a little bit rattled at this point. Because he's a very emotional player. I don't think anybody could disagree with that. He is a very emotional player. And, it could potentially get to the best of him. And he's in a position where...
He doesn't want to get cannoned by that 3rd spot. Because there's a spot on Daybreak where you can cannon and really mess it up. But, IdrA, he's really playing keep away with this probe and trying to really make sure...
on the top spot.
Well, I mean, at the same time, he's really abandoned all attempts at the natural. And will Alicia keep that probe up? Oh, yes, he will. And in the meantime, he's getting everything else normally back at home. Good trap here.
Oh, wow.
And yeah, IdrA's really doesn't want to get that cannon down.
Very diligent with his drone control and where that probe goes. Really good zoning. He has to worry about 2 key areas, of course, on top of the pylon and below the pylon. Pylon will finish. And that's unfortunate because that's 100 minerals that's just being sapped away. It doesn't do anything, no purpose. I guess it draws out the drones a little early, but they were in good time.
Yeah, I mean, IdrA can now just resume mining as normal. Now, Daybreak, this is a map that's very, very conducive for 3-hash before gas and get a lot of roaches because the avenues you can take to attack. And I just like Stefano's kind of style, whoever you want to credit it to. I like that kind of style a lot on this map. But at the same time, Protoss has a lot of options for 2-base timings. We've been watching a lot of Hero. He goes Blink a lot on this map. MC loves 7-gate force field on this map as well. Not even just any upgrades, just 7 gates. So we'll see what Alicia chooses to do. But just like you said, he's a little bit behind from investing that many minerals early on.
Yeah, I don't think it should affect the game too much.
No,
I mean, normally you do say, okay, I'm going to lose 200 minerals in this early game stage just to delay or force your opponent to react. Thankfully for IdrA, he didn't react too harshly. Let's go ahead and look at the income tab. It is 28 to 26, but you're going to see the macro mechanics of the Larva Inject really come to work. They're going to be skyrocketing him ahead. You can see already 30 to 30. And with 7, 8 drones in production, that's going to soar him ahead of his opponent. Really nicely done. In the meantime, let's go ahead and check out Mr. Alicia.
He's got a Twilight Council, and right off the bat, it screams 2-base Blink.
It could be 2-base Blink, or it could be Dark Templars.
It could be Dark Templars. You're right. No,
I've
seen Alicia do it.
I think it makes more sense to do Dark Templars at this stage, because this is a super fast Blink. Normally you get like 3 gateways and then Twilight Council if you want to do that Stalker Blink, because you need to build your Stalker count. If he gets Blink and just Chrono Boost that out, he will have maybe 5, 6 Stalkers out in the field. So normally we can expect Dark Shrine. There it is.
No, you're right. And no, it's just because he got the 3rd gas too that I think you're right about DTs, because he obviously needs that gas. But yeah, I mean, the way Hero's been doing his Blinks though on this build was just because he goes for a really fast Twilight Council, and the fact that he's getting this though means that he's going to stay on 2-base for a while. And if IdrA has any scent of this, he'll be completely okay. But the question is, will he be able to get the scout off? His Overlord is moving into position slowly, but the Sentry kind of pulls it back.
Yeah, it'll have to just stay there, honestly. It's funny, but what great positioning. It actually keeps in track of the 4th gas.
Yeah.
But we're going to see the initial Zealot just out and about scouting. And this proxy pylon will be the way that Alicia will be going about getting his Dark Templars to his opponent's base. Now let's go ahead and check out. Do we have any spot? No, that's not a Spore Crawler. That's a Spine Crawler, in fact, at the third base. Another, what's it called, is going to be placed over here. Now this is a big tell. Another pylon, thank you. This is a big tell because the +1 was delayed for quite a long time. So technically, IdrA should know this is a little bit of a tech play. And, you know, with how aggressive the pylons have been placed, I almost say it screams Dark Templars. And there you go, 2 Spore Crawlers being placed. Where'd that Spine Crawler? I think he canceled the Spine Crawler and went Spore Crawler.
Well, he has a Spore Crawler finishing at his natural, and yeah, he smells something fishy, and the Spore Crawler finishes just in time. Look at that, Alicia immediately exposed, and IdrA knows, gotta take out that DT.
Uh-oh.
And over at the natural, though, the Dark Templar, is it out of reach?
Oh, no. He actually lets 2 in, 1 into the back of his natural, the other one into the back of his main. Overseer is on the way right now. But overall, still great play. This is mitigated quite nicely. Actually, I wouldn't even say mitigated because the damage hasn't really been done.
He killed
if anything, IdrA is way ahead. I wouldn't say way ahead, but he's ahead.
He's comfortably ahead, and I would say that because IdrA, the whole idea is when you go Dark Templars this early, you invest a lot of not just gas, but time. You know, normally Protoss, they have a very strict timing window if they want to hit with 2 base timings, especially against mass roach style. Now, Alicia, the silver lining on this is that he knows exactly what style that IdrA is going for. So he's getting an Immortal, he's getting Bling, following up with +2, so very standard transitions. But IdrA is very, very comfortable. He just has to hold on to his lead.
Oh my goodness. Now, a great way to do this is just go mass roaches and build Spore Crawlers, build Spine Crawlers to make sure you're not susceptible to any Dark Templar play. That's the #1 thing. But just keep doing pressure, stopping your opponent from getting a third. This is a very common thing we see time and time again on Daybreak. You blow the center open, and you make a pathway so that it's a lot easier to reinforce your army. That way you can just go in there and do massive damage and stop. Like, you can bait a ton of units out here, and then you just swing around into the natural, kill the forge, kill the gateway, etc. And you know, it's almost unstoppable at this point. And with IdrA's massive lead, I think he can do a style like that gets him the win. But I like what Alicia's doing.
He's got a Warp Prism. And I guess he's just going to skimp his Immortals immediately, just go straight for how many gates does he have up? He's got 8. So an 8-gate 2-base time. He's walling off his base also to prevent any kind of counterattack. Now the big thing is that Alicia has no real amount of force fields other than his first sentry. He's got like 1 also additional force field, but IdrA sees this. Yes. He should be prepared, and he's got an incredible amount of roaches.
Everything is revealed. And once he establishes his position, he should get Burrow ASAP. Burrow is like a mini Blink against this style. He will be able to take out his opponent, but I've seen many times where just superior Blink play is able to overcome IdrA. Let's see how he does here. Oh, great positioning.
Yeah, right in the face of the Stalkers. Alicia is only going to be able to Blink forward, back, but also at the same time, he doesn't have that high ground advantage that normally he wants to fight, so a little bit of an awkward engagement there for Alicia. IdrA, of course, just waiting for his roaches. His +1 did finish onto his roaches as well, so he has that. Now keep in mind, Alicia did finish +2, but he's not producing anything. This is the huge 2-base time that he's been going for, but he's actually kind of doubling around back, doesn't want to engage right there. Love his use of the Observer as well, keeping track, but IdrA has to be really careful not to fight off creep here.
I like what IdrA's doing, actually. His positioning of the units are so intelligent. He should back up here. All he's looking to do is always sandwich his opponent. Oh, there's the big Blink on top of the roaches. Oh my god. Alicia taking a pretty nice advantage there.
Oh, wow.
Oh my goodness.
Oh man, yeah, I mean IdrA, he's too busy doing everything else back at home. He was macroing, obviously, by his POV, and he's not actually able to really get the sandwich he was looking for. And the roaches, you know, they're not actually as intimidating as before. There's still a lot of Stalkers. Now, keep in mind, the Stalkers are pretty weak, but IdrA has been preparing things like Infestus to come out, but does he have enough to really hold this off? Alicia's still got a lot of Stalkers, and he's blinking back very nicely. The Zealots also pushing back the roaches. No, I mean, at this point, IdrA, he's still keeping a supply advantage, but it still could go either way. IdrA confronting it directly. Alicia moving his Stalkers forward, but also blinking back at the same time. Andre, I mean, does Alicia have enough here?
I think he might. I mean, IdrA should have disengaged from that a while ago and waited for his infestors. No, he wasn't even getting infestors at this point, so this is a lost cause. IdrA against Blink Microplay, he's going to lose it right here. He was not able to get the surround that he wanted to get to just disable the power of that Blink Stalker. And there it is, GG.
Wow, GG.
Gets called out. Alicia will take it 2-0. Oh my goodness, that was so rough. Unfortunate for IdrA. Rough.
Yikes.
Yikes.
Man, that's
here's one thing. You know, it's hard to talk about that game a little bit, but I think one thing, and I can't believe I'm saying this, IdrA didn't actually drone up enough. He was at 62 drones. A lot of times when you stop at Dark Templars, you can just say, okay, I can drone up to my 70 count. My 72, that actually matters quite a bit. That represents, you know, 4 or 5 more roaches every single minute. And I will have more units to defend anything or be aggressive. I can understand his thought process. He's just like, I just stopped Dark Templars. Anything you do from here, your sentries are weaker, your stalker count is much weaker. You invested so much gas that could have been potential stalkers. I understand what he was thinking. It's just, I have to look back at that and see where he really went wrong, because I don't think the amount of time I was given is sufficient to.
But we do have a replay of what just happened. If we can pull it up on the screen, as you can see, Alicia was moving in here, and that's actually not the moment that we were talking about, because at this point Alicia had way too much, and it didn't even really matter that IdrA was able to really fight and get, you know, in his face. Alicia had just too many stalkers and got critical mass. I think the big moment was right before this, when IdrA had his roaches off creep. Down that ramp, off his natural, and he was trying to set up for a sandwich, but Alicia was able to capitalize and blink forward and trap the roaches. And you were saying like, oh, IdrA was setting up a beautiful sandwich, but I was at the same time saying he has to be careful, because if he gets caught there, that's it. Like, he loses half of his roach army, and from there Alicia was able to ride his way to victory.
I guess one thing I would say is get a Hydra Den.
Oh, here
just
it is.
on retainer. You know, maybe that would help out a lot. Because a lot of times Hydras are good. Well,
yeah,
IdrA would think differently, but Hydras are pretty successful against gateway units if you can get that mass amount. It's hard to call it.
It's tough to say. It's really tough to say. You can see, I mean, IdrA wanted to get his infestation pit as well, and he was like getting +1 carapace, but the +2 really hurt too much. And I think just in general, Alicia, he engaged in pretty good spots, not the best spots, but good enough to really to force IdrA to make awkward decisions. And in the end, IdrA just didn't have enough to hold off that 2-base push.
It's unfortunate, but there it is, ladies and gentlemen. IdrA falls 2-0, giving Alicia the win, and showing again why he is one of the most fantastic PvZers in the world. We want to thank iBuyPower for that match and that series, because what a great series to, I guess, end things off for NASL for today. We also want to let you guys know that there is a wonderful show match that goes down this weekend. $2,000 prize pool, $1,500 to the winner, $500 to the loser, and a solid state drive, 90 gigabytes to the winner as well. Check it out. It is Select versus Violet this Sunday, directly after the group stages for NASL. You can purchase your HD pass over at nasl.tv. It entitles you to watching that, of course, being able to get there. And if you're in the area, in the UCI Barcraft area, definitely check us out. Come on over and hang out with us. You know, grab a beer, watch some StarCraft, hang out with handsome nerds like this fellow over here.
Thank you, Andre.
Which I can see you so handsome in 1080p. It's like awesome, man.